What is good, everybody? This is your guy, Manny, and this is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. Man, Talking Commanders with Manny. It's been a little minute since I've been here. I'm going to take these headphones off. I don't think I need them. So the Commanders have made tons of moves in this free agency, and I'm really, honestly loving everything that they're doing. Folks are hating on Adam Peters because they're saying I've seen people wanting to trade the first-round pick or multiple picks for Trey Hendrickson. I've seen people, not smart people hate the Laramie Tunsil deal. Like, are you serious? You're getting an elite top 3 to top 5 left tackle in the game, and then it helps the entire line by sliding guys like, Brandon Coleman through the line, and then with Cosme being out, there's so much that you can do with Wiley and everything else. So I'm going to run through some of these signings by the Commanders. I will not be before you guys long because I got to go catch my Lakers. I know. I was a Commanders fan, a Lakers fan. I was a big Kobe fan, became a Laker fan, and then just stayed a Lakers fan. So that's my quick little story about my Lakers. So most recently, the Commanders signed Noah, both Noahs. They signed Noah Ibenagany and then also signed Noah Brown. But we're going to go ahead and talk about Noah Ibenagany first. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, give you guys some visual. If you look at what the Commanders are doing overall, they're bringing a lot of, I call them fat guys, some big boys that are going to stuff the run. And that's more important, honestly, than rushing the passer. The Commanders have struggled mightily with the run. For example, Saquon Barkley played 3 games versus the Commanders, and the guy had over 300 and something yards rushing in 3 games and 7 touchdowns. That cannot happen. So when you're talking about how far are the Commanders from the Eagles, what's the gap? They have a Saquon Barkley. We don't. So no matter how much of a pass rush you have, if you can't stop the run, then what? What Dan Quinn is doing is getting these big guys, he's going to call it the elephant end, like a Kinlaw, at the end to set the edge. He wants to set the edge, and then that kind of forces the running backs back on the inside, and that way you can kind of contain the run. That's really what he's doing. So if you look at how many defensive tackles that we have on the squad already, I mean, it's crazy. So before I get into some of the signings, we talked about Noah, both Noahs. The Commanders really like John Bates. I'm just seeing the kind of money that John Bates was able to get. $21 million for 3 years, $11.5 million guaranteed. It just shows you how much they like John Bates. It's amazing because you look at John Bates, and I'm the kind of guy, I'm like, look, man, I wanted to get an Evan Ingram to go with Zach Ertz and then, play Senate more. But what John Bates offers is much more than what he can do as a skill position player. So yeah, they say they love him, that he can block defensive ends. There's not a lot of tight ends that can block defensive ends and block them pretty well, and John Bates does just that. While I'm talking, more news came in. I'm just all interested in everything Commanders, to be honest. I don't care about anything else right now but my Commanders news. I think that the Commanders are pretty much done signing for today. I mean, I can't see any other move being made. Olamide Zaccheaus, it was tough to not resign him for what John Keim is saying. It says massive effort player, team-oriented. He was productive when called upon, but with Debo coming in and then, you re-signing Noah Brown, like I talked about a little earlier. And then, of course, you have Luke McCaffrey, who did warrant a 3rd-round draft capital. So it's kind of time to start to see, what do you have in Luke McCaffrey? I think the time is now. So some more news. People are talking about Adam Peters didn't do anything. He didn't attack free agency. He didn't go after people. Ronnie Stanley from the Ravens, he went after him. He offered him like $24 million a year. He just chose to stay with the Ravens. It just is what it is. Commanders also went after DJ Reed. DJ Reed states that, he wanted to get paid. He wanted to play with some dogs. And, he wanted to go to a team that he felt had a shot at the Lombardi. Obviously, he feels the Lions are much closer than the Commanders, but hey, that is his prerogative. At the end of the day, he said that it came down to the Lions and the Commanders, and he chose the Lions. And if you look at the price that he got, I believe he got $60 million for 3 years, about $20 a year. That means that Adam Peters offered something similar for DJ Reed, but DJ Reed, chose the Lions. It just is what it is. What else? What other news? I saw somebody talking about Benjamin St-Juste, and this right here was hilarious to me. He was like, the only play that he saw Mike Williams make was versus a terrible corner in St-Juste, and his team just signed him. And then, I retweeted him, poking fun at him, talking about, enjoy Chargers fans. You guys are going to enjoy him, I promise. Yeah, I'm just so glad that my guy, not my guy, but Benjamin St-Juste is off the team. I think everybody hated him as a player. Yo, brethren, we got some big, uglies in the trenches. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Says, we're still going to draft an edge. Yeah, we're going to draft an edge. Like right now, with everything that has transpired, it's looking towards us grabbing an edge in the draft. And free agency is still not over. I don't know how much money we have left. We still have some money. So anything can happen between now and then. But the guys that are available right now are a bunch of old edge rushers. So it's leaning towards us grabbing the edge in the draft. And I'm going to talk about my experience last year in the draft and what I expected and what didn't happen. And then eventually it happened this time around. So when you are craving a certain kind of position in the draft and it doesn't happen, just know that Adam Peters knows exactly what he's doing. He's the kind of guy that goes for best available off of his board than actually what do we need. So if he sees best available, he's going to grab a talent that's not a edge. So do not be upset if the Commanders don't grab an edge until the 7th round. I'm telling you, that's just kind of how Adam Peters moves. All right, we talked about Noah Igbinoghene coming back. I'm excited about him. When you tell me that he's part of our corner group that features Lattimore, Mike Sanders-Drill, Jonathan Jones that we signed yesterday, and then Noah Igbinoghene, those four, I mean, that's a solid four. And in case of an injury, you can trust these guys. He's a guy that was a former first-round pick. He has some size. He's 6 foot tall, started 10 games. So he was definitely a guy that I love that the team brought back that you can kind of continue to groom within the system. Who else? How do you guys feel about Azeez Ojulari? I think he's decent. I think he's nice. He's 24, but there's a reason why he hasn't signed a contract yet. Maybe he wants more money than what he's worth, but I believe that he's a solid player. I loved him more so his rookie season when he had, I think his rookie season was his best season by far. We re-signed Trent Scott. Y'all remember him? He's the guy that caught Jaden Daniels' first touchdown pass. And then last year with Cosmi going down, he was pushed into the starting lineup, starting at right guard. And he did well. He did well because I was worried about Jalen Carter and all these guys doing some things. And he held his own. So we're building the trenches. Like my boy says, we got some big uglies. And that's what you want to do. You want to build both trenches, and the Commanders have solidified their offensive line, in my opinion. They can, of course, draft the right tackle if the right guy's there at 29. You just never know. Peters goes with the best available. So it's good to have Trent Scott back. Great to have Zach Ertz back. We brought back backup Sheldon Day on a 1-year deal. Quinn calls him a glue guy. Last season came in with his leadership. And he's a guy that's going to be a run stuffer. He's going to be a run stuffer. I am excited to have him back on the team. We just continue to add a whole bunch of big guys. So that's great. We signed Will Harris. You guys go check out Will Harris. A lot of guys are mad for losing Jeremy Chin. I'm not. It just is what it is. Jeremy Chin got $16 million for 2 years. Will Harris comes here and gets $8 million for 2 years, and he's going to have to prove himself. He's a guy that can play more than strong safety. He's going to be moved around all over. And if you look at what the Commanders are doing, they want some tacklers. They want some guys that can hit hard. They want some guys that are all over the field. They want some guys that are going to bring the boom, and that's what Will Harris is going to bring. Now, I don't know how much better he's going to be than Jeremy Chin. You just never know. But one thing I do know is that he's faster, and he's going to be better in coverage. My boy Luvu. Let me see. Going into last year, so this is an old post where we had Forbes and so Noah coming back. Noah's going to help to solidify this wide receiver group. I still feel like we are a vet or rookie away, maybe both. I want to a more accomplished or more upside out of the wide receiver too. Yes, you do have Deebo Samuels, who's more going to work the slot. He's going to take some of those things that Eckler did well out the backfield. Let's not forget. There's a post that I had from yesterday. Deebo Samuels has more rushing TDs than any wide receiver in the entire history of the NFL. So that's pretty good. You're getting a versatile player. I made a post a while back. I said that Deebo Samuels is going to be a little bit of what we got from Pierre Garçon when he was on the Redskins and what Antonio Gibson was supposed to be. And it's not a knock on Antonio Gibson. He was a great player. He was a good player while he was here in his role. But you're going to get a little bit of both coming out of Deebo Samuels, and I love that. Let me see. Oh, I talked about Azeez Ojulari. I mean, if we can get a Micah Becton, I know that's just being greedy at this point. I mean, there hasn't been a market for him just yet. Maybe he wants more money than what he's worth. He was a guy that the Eagles put in. He was a former tackle, didn't work at tackle. They put him in as a guard, and he excelled in their system, playing with a lot of good players. So kind of like how we did for Eric Flowers, taking Eric Flowers from the Giants. He was a tackle. We put him in that guard position, and then he flourished. So we've done that before. It would be nice to get Micah Becton, honestly. Calais Campbell, I will not mind. I won't mind, man. He's a massive human being. He's like 6'8" and over 300 pounds. Stephon Gilmore, he's old. I know we're being called the Commander's nursing home, but Stephon Gilmore can play ball. He can play ball. Justin Simmons is another guy. And then you look in free agency. This free agency is a bunch of old guys or a bunch of young guys that never really panned out, like Elijah Moore. I do like Elijah Moore. I do feel like he still has some talent. It's just about getting on the right team, getting into the right system, right scheme. Zadarius Smith. There's lots of guys out here that you can still add and help to better your team. What other moves did we make? They're welcoming Deebo. The trade is finally official. This right here, 20 rushing touchdowns, most in NFL history by a wide receiver. That's pretty darn good. And he hasn't been in the league for a long time. So that's the versatility that you get out of a Deebo Samuel. So I'm glad to have him. Folks are mad about what Adam Peters is doing. I mean, a 5th-round pick for Deebo Samuels, that's pretty solid. We're going to get to the Laramie Tunsil deal in just a minute to kind of break that down. But now, this is a move that I did not like. Michael Dieter, he's a backup OL. I feel like we can get somebody in the 7th round that can do what this guy can do, but better. I mean, he has experience, but him at the center position last year was a disaster. Every time he came in, every time he was a center, you saw that. I mean, Biadasz is just so good, so great for what we do that the drop-off is crazy. I would have loved for us to sign another center that can play guard than a guard that can play some center. He's a depth piece, and then who knows if he makes the final 53 anyways. So that was one move that I didn't like, but it just is what it is. There were reports that Andrew Wiley could be moving. He got his contract reconstructed, giving him more guaranteed money. He has just 1 year left on his deal, so he can earn some more money through incentives and all that good stuff. There's talks about him moving to guard. Does he stay at right tackle? Does Coleman move to guard? He stay at right tackle. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially with Cosmi being out. There's going to be some things there, and then people talking about I forgot his name, the guy that came from the Kansas City Chiefs. Uptown Dre's writes, I heard Cam Robinson OT is available, but he will cost $14 million. Yeah, he's going to cost some money. If you get a guy like this, man, it solidifies your line. I mean, this is a guy that I would take over Wiley, to be honest. He'll be a nice right tackle. And yeah, but he's going to cost some money. And I don't know if they want to spend that money on Cam Robinson. I don't know how they view Cam Robinson. But the longer you wait, as money starts to dry up, you're going to be able to get some of these guys at a discount. Some of these guys are going to go for dirt cheap because money has dried up. So the waiting game is also a beautiful thing. That's one thing I do like about Adam Peters. We brought back KJ Osborne. I love him as a player. I think he offers a lot as a player, but he's a guy that you have to use. If you're not going to use him, then what's the point of having him? That's just kind of how I feel. But we'll see if he makes the actual team. Let me see. Like a guy like David Andrews. He's been on the Patriots for 10 years. He's been a captain. He's won multiple Super Bowls. This is a guy that I would have loved to have on the team, but of course, he's going to command some money. He's not going to be as cheap as Michael Dieter for sure. So, yeah, but guys that are true centers that can play some guard, those are kind of players that I'm interested in adding, to be honest. Trey Hendrickson, man, right now the price is astronomical. They're looking for a first plus. At first it was a first and a third. Then I'm hearing a first. And then now you're talking about paying a first and then paying this guy about, he's not going to get Garrett money, but he's going to get, about 35 mil, somewhere around there, 35 to 37 mil. I mean, he has 35 sacks the last 2 years. So how do you guys feel about Trey Hendrickson? Do you guys feel the Commanders should trade the 29th pick? I don't. At first, I that was where my mind was at, but when I see the vision of what Adam Peters is doing, I kind of retracted the way that I was thinking. At this point, you can get this guy cheaper in terms of draft capital. Maybe you trade a third next year and you give him a fourth this year and then you extend him. Something like that. Something along that line I think is feasible. And then you can make him a high-end defensive end for 2 to 3 years. I think that's good money. We have to maximize this window that we have with Jayden Daniels. When it's time to pay Jayden Daniels, he's going to be getting like $70 million a year. And it's not too far-fetched. He's in year 1. By the time he's in year 5, you're talking about an extension. So it's time to maximize that Super Bowl window. I know it sounds crazy to think, Commander Super Bowl window. Yes, Super Bowl window. You have a great rookie quarterback, and it's time you can pay different people. You can do different things. But one thing that I've noticed about Adam Peters is that he's not going to overpay, and he's really strict with giving 1-year deals. He wants you to go out there and earn it. Deidre Wise, he's a guy that's underrated as a pass rusher. He's a staple for the Patriots for so many years. He's going to help with the run. So I love what they're doing. A lot of big bodies that they're bringing in. All kinds of guys getting cut. I love the Cowboys losing players. I'm loving the Eagles lose players. C.J. Mosley, I was asking, is he washed? I don't know. I think we're good at linebacker. I don't see him, settling for less. We resigned Kevon Seymour, special teams contributor, depth piece right there. And to poke fun at the Cowboys, because we hate the Cowboys, they traded for Kenneth Murray, cheap deal. They traded for Kaiir Elam, a guy that was in the first drafted in the first round, but didn't really pan out for the Bills. They traded a 4th round for him. They traded a 4th round for Mingo. Traded a 4th round for what's the name, Trey Lance. So y'all should be appreciative of who Adam Peters is. Adam Peters is doing a much better job. I mean, look at what the Cowboys have done. And look at what the Commanders have done. Well, you can say, well, there's no big names. I mean, we've Lermy Tunsil and Deebo Samuels. I mean, even Marshawn Lattimore last year. I mean, we are making smart moves, smart trades when it comes to actually making trades. New commander, Jonathan Jones, another tough guy, great tackler, brings the boom. He played phenomenal at Patriots. Patriots fans love this guy. They say, hey, take care of this guy. This guy is going to come in and give it his all. These are the kind of guys that Adam Peters is looking for. He's looking for guys that are hungry. That's why he gives out these 1-year deals. Go out there, earn your money. That's kind of who he is. I would love for us to get Cooper Kupp. Do we get Cooper Kupp? I doubt it. But he will give us that true number 2 on the outside, aside from Deebo Samuels. Yeah, that'd probably make us one of the oldest wide receiving groups out there. But, hey, you can always add in the draft and also undrafted free agent as well. Let me see. Getting Lermy Tunsil is just as big as getting Myles Garrett, honestly. We signed big old Eddie Goldman the other day. He's a big boy. 6'3", 325 pounds. Before I searched up who he was, he's going to help with run stuff. And you just kind of just see what the Commanders were doing. Just getting these big guys that can come in and help stuff the run. Like, I think they put emphasis on stopping the run. And this right here, Marcus Mariota coming back, that just made my day. He had options. He could have gone elsewhere. He was talking about the grass not being greener on the other side. And I'm glad he stayed because he loved the situation. He loved the culture, and he is where he wants to be. If you guys are chiming in and never heard of me before, please subscribe and please like the video. I kindly appreciate it, y'all. Dre says, no way, we don't have that many picks. We're trading back into the second round to recoup our 3rd and 5th. I would love that. I would love to trade from 29 to about picks 35 to 48, around that range, just to recoup more picks. And then I don't mind trading him back again in the third round or in the second round to recoup more picks. You can see it like last year. You saw that Adam Peters left to live in the second round. We had 3 second-round picks last year. So this could be another thing that if his guy is not there at 29, or if he feels like his guy is going to be there at 35 to 40, I would love a running back. I would love a guy like TreVeyon Henderson. I mean, that's my favorite back. I mean, there's so many different backs in this draft that have the potential to be good to great. Give me any one of them. I'm not picky. I just know that I can't go into a season knowing that B-Rob and Eckler are my guys. No, I'm not doing that. So Commanders ex-safety Derek Forrest goes on to the Bills. I was kind of wishing that Derek Forrest would have got some playing time last year. I felt like he did some good things in that 1 year when he became a full-time starter. Did some pretty good things, but after injury, he just wasn't the same anymore. Josh has the same mindset as I have. There's no way that you keep 5 running backs going into next season. There's just no way. And they have all these guys in the RB room like Rodriguez and, all these different little pieces, but none of them is going to be a piece that moves the needle. Eckler does some things nice. B-Rob does some things nice, but B-Rob is taking a step back, and I feel like it's time that you find that home run hitting back. Nick Westbrook-Akina, I mean, he got a sweet deal. I mean, Miami got a sweet deal, 2 years for $6.5 million. He was somebody I was interested in, but I get the reason why you would go with Noah Brown over Westbrook-Akina, because at least Noah Brown knows the offense. So sometimes you get these guys that, he had 9 touchdowns for the Titans on a bad team. Is that really a great season? I mean, there's some upside there, but guys like this are sometimes the one-hit wonders. They go somewhere. He might go to Miami and just fizzle out. So you just never know. Leonard Floyd was another guy that I wanted, but, at the end, Peters did what Peters do, and you can't be mad. So quick little story before I sign off of this stream. Last year, I was worried about the Commanders' left tackle situation. I was saying to myself, who the heck is going to protect Jayden Daniels? You're drafting Jayden Daniels high, a mobile quarterback, and you have flashbacks of RG3 injuries and all these different things. And I'm like, who's going to, protect this guy? You can't go into the season with Cornelius Lucas as your left tackle, but they were prepared to make Cornelius Lucas their starting left tackle. In the first round, obviously, we get Jayden Daniels. In the second round, we get Mikey, we get Sennett, and we get Johnny Newton, right? Then I'm like, oh, why the heck did we not grab a left tackle? Maybe they saw that the left tackles there would have been the same as the left tackles in the third round. In the third round, they grabbed Brandon Coleman. I'm like, oh, my gosh, a rookie left tackle or tackle. Because at the time, I didn't know he was going to play left tackle. I don't know what he was going to play. They just said, lineman, what is he guard? What is he a tackle? We didn't know, but he's coming from a good school, good program at TCU. He played well, and going into the season, preseason, Brandon Coleman is doing well. Then boom, Brandon Coleman becomes the starting left tackle. He does well. He has his ups and downs, but overall, he did well. I say all this to say, as much as you guys want an edge rusher, you're thinking Peters might get an edge rusher in the first round or second round. Do not be upset when he trades back and you're possibly seeing an edge rusher being selected in the third or the fourth. All I am saying is that Peters grabs best talent available, best player available. That's just his MO. That's what he does, and that's what he's gonna continue to do. My guy Hawk was good, brother. That's what Peters is gonna continue to do. He's gonna grab the guys that he feels are the best available on the board. What is the point of grabbing somebody, right, in a draft just for need when you see a corner that could be a starter, or you see a right tackle, or you see a wide receiver or a running back? You don't have to grab that edge if you feel like these other positions or these players are best available. And that's why he gives these 1-year deals, because guess what? If he sees an edge in the draft, you bring him in, you get him accustomed to the system. They're gonna replace some guys next year. There's a reason why Dante Fowler hasn't been signed. He played half the snaps. And on top of that, 10.5 sacks. But how consistent is Fowler? He's never consistent. So he's a guy that you can still bring back. He's possibly looking to trying to see what is the market for him. I will not be messed up with him coming back. So with that being said, What do you guys think happens the rest of the way? Who do you guys want in the draft? For those of you guys that are going to be watching the replay, let me know who you guys think the Commanders select in the draft. What would you guys like to see moving forward? Is it a trade back? Is it a guy like a Cooper Kupp? Or is there a trade that might be made that's like a low-key trade where you're swapping a 7th, a 6, 7, or something like that? You know, there's a lot of free agency left. Tons of guys still available. So we don't know how this thing shakes out, but I love the approach of grabbing these vets, 1-year deals, and then you supplement with the draft. You have, 5 to 6 draft picks right now, and then you still have the undrafted free agent market. So, guys, this is your boy, Manny. This is your first time seeing me. Please like, please subscribe. I will be back on tomorrow to talk more Commanders. I'm going to holler at you guys. Y'all be safe and y'all be easy. I'm out. Peace. Hail to the Commanders. Let's get it.